All right, I have 12:15, so that means we will begin. Let me share my screen as I do that. I am Dr. Staci Saner. I am the program director for the Health Professions Education graduate programs in UofL School of Medicine. And so I'm excited to be able to share our program. And if you've got any questions, since we're a really small group, please feel free to just jump in and interrupt. I think that will be perfect. Um, so I'm going to start in what we do. Uh, so I do have three overarching goals of the HPE program, and I think it's always a good way to start introductions is to help you understand what the goals are of the program. And so the first one is to develop educational leaders in the health professions realm. Um, Education is not simple. Education is takes work, and helping people understand how to be a good educator and what they can do to improve, I think is really important. The other goal, or second goal, is to provide the healthcare institution with highly qualified educators. Um, I think it's great if you can have someone on board that has the educational knowledge and skills to be able to help with curriculum development, help with assessment, be the person that you know they can count on to help them understand the literature or whatever it is they may need. And then the third goal of HPE is to serve the discipline. Uh, you may not be aware, but health professions education is an incredibly rich area for research and scholarship. And so by serving the discipline, I really mean helping provide new literature out there to, you know, make the programs, anybody's programs, more effective. And so those are my goals. But then I also have competencies. And so I break the HPE program down into uh, 6 competencies. The first one is by the end of the program, I want you to be able to create learning and development opportunities that are really informed by learning science and informed by educational theory. Uh, and I want you to be able to do it in both a didactic and a clinical learning environment. So 2 different locations, because it is different in different academic environments. So that's our first competency. The second competency, I really want you to have the ability to assess, evaluate, and use research to inform your practice, right? It's important to have the foundation of evaluation and assessment. And I think it's one of those things that people are, when they learn about it, they're like, oh my gosh, I've needed this forever. So it's a very practical way to improve. My third competency is doing something called promoting your professional educator identity. Um, we all come to the programs with different identities. Lots of times, if I've got nurses or physicians or dentists or even other allied healthcare professionals, I've got a ultrasound tech, and they brought up, and like that's what they do, right? But we want to elevate your identity as an educator as well. And so by having this program and you going through the program, you would be able to say, hey, no, I'm an educator. This is what I do. There's also another competency around um, using, evidence-based strategies to engage all your learners. There's It's so important to provide a learning environment that is uh, open. You've created psychological safety. The learners feel that they can trust you. I mean, there's there's all kinds of ways to get to this competency, but there's so many options. And so the more you can learn about uh, the different strategies, the better off. Uh, our fifth competency is to develop some scholarly skills. Um, and so the real goal for developing the scholarly skills is not necessarily for you to create research or create scholarship. Obviously, you can, absolutely, if you want. But my goal with this competency is for you to know where in the literature to go to answer questions like, is this a best practice? Is it not a best practice? How should we, there's tons of literature on how to teach specific content. And what are the misconceptions that students come to the table with that I can address early on to make sure that that misconception is not relevant to them. So it's really important to be able to access that information and influence the direction of your educational environment. And then the final competency is really around leadership, uh, developing leaders who can influence the educational system across multitude of platforms, whether it's program directors or clerkship directors or assistant deans for education or whatever the role is. There are specific skills in leadership that will help you be more effective as an educator. And so we do have a course designed just for that specific um, competency. So what's so special about our HPE program? People always like, well, why should I come to UofL? I think there's numerous reasons, but first I like to look at this infographic that was created. Currently, we have about 27% of our students are out of state, and we represent about 13 different states, always looking to grow that. And so one of the things that's special is I have real clinicians who teach in the program. I have child life specialist. I have a surgeon. I have dentists. I have emergency medicine faculty. So I have all kinds of people that have have clinical expertise and understand what it's like teaching in a clinical learning environment that are facilitating many of these courses. So I think that is really helpful. A lot of programs are just like partnered with colleges of education, and you're getting revamped College of Education courses, and it doesn't really apply as much to that clinical learning environment. The other thing you should know is there's one caveat, all our courses are 8-week asynchronous. And so our classes only last for 8 weeks. And that way you can fit 2 courses in per semester generally. So we have what we call fall 1, fall 2, spring 1, spring 2, and then we only offer 1 summer session. So there's lots of opportunities and lots of people get into a course. They're like, okay, I can do anything for 8 weeks. And they can. And it's not as bad as they were expecting. So the one caveat I didn't discuss was the capstone course, which you would take at the end of the program. That is a full 15-week semester. But the only reason why that is a full semester long course is because at the time, I mean, you would not be able to complete a capstone project in an 8-week class. So this just takes a little more planning. The concentration of our program is on teaching. I want to help create the very best educators and impact the next generation of providers, whatever type of provider it may be. There are lots of programs where their concentrations are research and HPE research. Obviously, we do introduce research, we talk about research, uh, but the concentration, like where we are really headed, is the teaching. And we really do care about supporting our next generation of providers. I think I said that, but it's really about getting high quality instruction uh, to our learners, to our students in our program, to make sure that they are able to have positive impact on their learners or students. So let me break down the program really quick. Right now we have two programs. We have a graduate certificate. The graduate certificate is 4 courses and 3 credit hours for each course. Um, these 4 courses that are in the graduate certificate are also part of the master. So don't worry if you're like, well, are they different? No, they work together. So the first course, and these I think are just in numeric order. We've got evaluation and assessment. So we talked about a competency, about how important that is. So we have an entire course geared towards that. Teaching and learning. If I could change the title of this course, I would change it to Learning Science 101 or something like that. But it's HPE 665. And we introduce educational theory. We introduce how learning works, how to, help your learners gain new knowledge and skills, um, and what are best practices and what the learning science says. 675 is program development. This is the course that will help you create a new program or a new course or a new uh, um, graduate program, whatever it is. Program development really does walk you through the steps that you would use to create something new for your learning environment. And then HPE 676 is our instructional strategies. Instructional strategies is an amazing course. And one of the things that I really like about it is we spend time looking at different instructional strategies and kind of identifying what type of content would be best for that. And is that strategy really effective in a didactic situation, or is it really effective more in a clinical situation? And so it's really important to have multiple strategies in your back pocket as you're teaching, because not everybody learns the same. And so if one strategy works really well for a couple students, well, let me have something else I can pull out and see, okay, you guys try it this way. So that's really important. So those 4 courses together create the 12 credit hour graduate certificate. And then these 4 courses are also part of the master's degree. And so for the MSHPE, the Master's of Science in Health Professions Education, it is a 33 credit hour and it's a non-thesis degree. So there's not a major thesis at the end. There is a presentation and there is, you present your project and it's project based. So it's not as, I don't know if difficult is the right word, but it's not as intense as a thesis degree would be. And I already mentioned this, but our last semester is a 16-week professional project, and I really think our semesters are only 15-week. I'll have to change that. Every single one of our courses are HPE specific. Many programs out there, like I said, have partnered with College of Education, and you are just taking graduate courses in higher ed instead of HPE specific courses. So I think that is something to think about as well. So to obtain the master's degree, you need those 4 certificate courses for those 12 credit hours. And then the following, we've got 658, which is educational leadership. That is that competency around helping you lead in an academic environment. We also have 685, that's evidence-based practice. This is the course that's going to introduce you to how to utilize the literature, how to find, evaluate literature. Is this something that is useful or not? And it's really key to be able to have some of those skills in order to work on your programming. 697, the professional project, which we just talked about. And then there are 4 electives. And so here are some of our elective examples right here. And we have others. This is just some of our 4 HP electives, and there's 5 there. All right, cool. We'll figure it out one of these days. But like I said, ours are HPE specific, whether you're looking at simulation, what are simulation practices, you're looking at feedback in a professional education, well-being, how do we help our learners and ourselves take care of ourselves? Qualitative data analysis, you do that in lots of educational research projects. So these are key. So all of that together would 4 electives plus the 4 certificate courses, and the 3 above are the courses that would get you to the master's. So this is the question everybody always asks. What do I need to do and what do I need? So graduate application process is coming up like for summer. If you are interested in starting in the summer, that the deadline to apply is May 1st, because it does take a while to get all your stuff in and evaluated and that sort of thing. And so you can see if you wanted to start in fall 1, we're looking at an August 10th deadline, fall 2, October 2nd deadline. So these are just the deadline set by the graduate school. And then below that is the certificate application. So you can apply and just do the 4-credit certificate. Once again, we do not offer any certificate courses during the summer. There are only master's courses in the summer. So the certificate courses are only offered in the fall and spring semester. So that is why we only have those deadlines for applications. You can see summer starts May 27th, and then our start dates for the 2 different fall programs are coming up. So we look forward to reviewing your application. So the one thing people are always asking is, well, how much is it really? The graduate tuition currently at UofL is $850 per credit hour. And then our active duty service members get $250 per credit hour, which is an amazing deal. And I do have lots of service members in our HPE program. Remember, these are asynchronous courses. There will be times when you have to meet with your faculty or instructor, but that is generally on a small group or a one-on-one situation. There's no synchronous time where the whole class gets together. There are lots of different courses have optional times where people get together, but those would always be recorded and put in our learning management system. So if you were unable to attend a synchronous session, you would still have the opportunity to view it at a later time that works for you. I mean, in reality, we would not find a good time where lots of people could get together to have a synchronous session. Some of our providers are emergency medicine and OBGYN, and they work lots of different hours. And so to finish the master's, it would take about 2 years and 1 semester to finish the program. And that is if you were taking 2 courses in the fall, 2 courses in the spring, one course in the summer for 2 years, and then your final semester would be that capstone. So it's really not overly burdensome because we can uh, get those courses in smaller chunks and in that asynchronous environment. So it's very uh, helpful. I have here's my information. I also have Janice Harris, who is our admissions person, and she is available to help you with uh, application questions or how to go about um, doing, whatever you need to do to make the application process go smoother. And since I was just talking about the application process, I realized I skipped over some important information. So let me go back. So what else do you need for your application? I also need a letter of recommendation. We only require one letter of recommendation. Um, I need all official transcripts from institutions you have attended and received credits from. That is an accreditation requirement, and I can't get around that. So you will have to get official transcripts that would be sent directly to U of L. That is a really important step. You would write a letter, or not really a letter, provide me with a statement of why you want to do this and what you hope to get out of it. And it could really be 3 or 4 paragraphs. It doesn't have to be like a long, cumbersome process, but really, why do you want to do this and what do you want to learn? You know, why do you want to learn that? What impact do you think this would have on your future endeavors? That sort of thing. So I apologize for skipping over that information. Did I miss anything else, Jamise?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all.
All right, thank you. Oh, goodness. So this is the point where I say I open it up for questions. If anybody has any specific questions they would like to ask, uh, now is the time. We'll be great to entertain questions that may be percolating in your head right now. You're welcome to use the chat if you wish. Well, with that in mind, I will wrap things up. I will stay here for a few minutes, but I will go ahead and say this is the extent of our presentation. You will be hearing from Jamise shortly. She will provide additional information and links to podcasts that we've recorded with HPE students that have talked about what they've gotten out of the program and what they've done. And so those are really helpful as well because people are always asking, well, how much work is it really? And it's hard for me to tell you how much work it is. But if you hear it from others, I think that has been a helpful thing for folks. So with that, I will say thank you for listening, and I will hang out here for just a few more minutes. All right, that's it. Don't know what to think about no question, people. It's weird. All right, I'll get off. I know, I know. See you in not very long, Jamise.
All right, I'll see you then.